everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here for Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. Can't wait to see what we have today. We're going hard into 2025, and I'm sure you got some good questions. Here we go. Question number 1. What did it mean to you to see President Trump visit North Carolina to get an update on the hurricane damage? Well, first of all, this one is very personal to me. North Carolina is my home state. I grew up on the eastern part of the state on the beach, but the whole state, obviously, I care very deeply about. And I think it was egregious to see what happened to the western part of the state. People sort of forgot that there was widespread devastation there, that Hurricane Helene destroyed so much of that state. And we really stopped talking about it. It really wasn't top of mind for anyone. So for President Trump and our First Lady to show up there just days after he took office, to not only call attention to the fact that we need to make sure that these people are getting back up and running, back on their feet, getting what they deserve and what they need, but he also talked about FEMA a little bit and basically said, not for nothing, I think FEMA has done a really bad job. And maybe we should talk about completely overhauling FEMA. Maybe we need to do away with FEMA. Maybe it's time to give the money that we would otherwise be paying into FEMA via our taxpayer dollars to the states themselves. And when they have natural disasters or situations like this, the states can decide the best way to use the money, because obviously FEMA has ultimately failed. I think it meant so much to the people of North Carolina. In fact, right after I saw him there, I texted my father-in-law and I said, thank you so much for going there. I know how much it meant to the whole state to see you there. That's the kind of president that people really wanted coming into the White House. This is a strong guy. This is a tough guy. He's going to make sure that we're respected again, but he also comes at a time when people are down and out and they need something and they need to be comforted. And that's what that trip partially was about, was making sure that people knew that they hadn't been forgotten. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And then from there, of course, he went out to California and he didn't hold back on the leaders in California. I mean, they've done an abysmal job. They have completely failed their entire state. And I don't think Los Angeles will ever look the same. People lost everything. A lot of these people didn't have insurance. There's really no explanation as to why there was no water for the fire trucks, why there was no water in the reservoirs. You need to figure this out. You need to figure out why they didn't do any forest management. All these things that Donald Trump was actually criticized for talking about with Gavin Newsom a couple of years ago, turns out he was right again. So I loved the whole trip. I thought it was great. And I think really the people of California are probably very happy to know that they have someone who has a little common sense in charge. Because if you notice at that press conference, whenever Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, was saying, oh, yeah, we're going to let people go back in like a week or so. He was like, a week? What are you, crazy? They want to go back tonight. I see this guy over here. He's ready to go back today as soon as we leave here. That's what people want. They wanted to go get their lives together, start cleaning up and start rebuilding again. So thanks, President Trump, for that. Okay. Oh, next question. I saw Luke won big this weekend. Is JiuJitsu paying off? I hope so. I'll let you know in about 10 years. Part of the reason I want my kids to do JiuJitsu, yes, it's great overall I like my kids to do physical things. Look, if I don't have these kids moving around all the time, they're not going to bed when I need them to go to bed. I need my kids exhausted by the end of the day. So part of it is that, I want them to be physically fit and all those things and be able, of course, to defend themselves should they ever need it one day. But the other part of it is that, I want them to be good people and to work hard at things. And you can't fake it in jiu-jitsu. That's the whole thing. You have to have respect for your opponent. You have to have respect for, the actual, jiu-jitsu itself and learning all the moves and everything else. And so he did win. He won 2 of his fights and he lost the 3rd one. And that's okay. I'm okay with losing. In fact, I'm glad that he didn't win all of it, because I think you learn a lot more from losing than you ever do from winning. And for his first time, he was really proud. He did, get a medal and win 2 of the fights, but 3rd one he lost. So we'll just have to come back for some more jiu-jitsu. And I'll be curious to see if my daughter is into doing any sort of competition in the future, because she was really worried about him. She was worried someone was going to hurt him. She was talking about it the night before. What if this happens? What if Luke gets hurt? And of course, as a mom, you always think of that, but can't operate like that. So I'll let you know if Carolina is going to be signing up for any jiu-jitsu. We'll see. Okay, next. For years, customers have been asking if MyPillow sells cross necklaces like the one Mike Lindell proudly wears every day. Well, guess what? You're in luck. They are excited to announce that Mike has partnered with a jeweler right here in the USA to create beautiful sterling silver My Crosses. You can save 30% today using promo code TRUMP at mypillow.com and click on the radio podcast square or call 800-624-3945 and be sure to use promo code TRUMP. You can choose from the women's or men's style and make sure you do it soon because this amazing offer won't last long. Just go to mypillow.com and click on the radio podcast square or call 800-624-3945 and use promo code TRUMP. Next question. What did you say to Eric when he moved during the inauguration? This was a really interesting one. So you may have noticed there were some conspiracy theories out there online. There was a moment during the inauguration where my husband, I think he had gone up to do like the swearing in ceremony with his dad. And then he came back and he kind of stood like almost in front of me. So I couldn't really see what was going on. So he just gave him like a light tap to let him know like, hey, need to move over a little bit because I'm like kind of boxed in here. According to the internet, he held his hands, I don't know, something like this. I don't know. He does that sometimes. And everyone thought it was some Illuminati sign or some, I don't even know what people were spinning out about online. Almost immediately after we walked off stage there at the Capitol, he's like, my phone's blowing up about my hands and you moving me. And I was like, what? For anybody out there who's wondering, this is just Eric holding his hands. It's a comfort thing. I don't know what he's doing. It has nothing to do with anything. But if everybody wants to get spun up about it, be my guest. No signals, no low-key inferences there. Just a normal position for his hands. I don't know what else to say to you guys. But yeah, nothing else to it. That's all I have. So I hope that'll do and suffice for everybody out there. Okay. Oh, next question. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? All right, I'm one of these. I didn't want the same matchup. I'll be really honest. I was okay with the Eagles winning, I guess. I really wanted to see the Bills there. And I'll be honest, so did my son. So he was really upset when I had to tell him Monday morning that Bills were not going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I think it's hard to bet against Kansas City. I'll be really honest. Patrick Mahomes, he's legend material, truly. So as much as I wanted to bet against him on Sunday night, that was the wrong bet, of course. I felt very encouraged throughout the course of that game. And the Bills should be proud because they played a good game. They really did. They held their own. I had to put the kids to bed in the midst of the game going on. And I came back and I'm like, oh, they're up 1. Like, we're in good shape here. Didn't work out. But I got to take Kansas City. I don't want to do it, but I got to do it. That's where I'm going. So Kansas City, we'll see how it pans out. If you're looking to make any bets, though, I have no idea. I'm not an NFL expert. I do love football, but not an expert, just a hunch. Okay, final question. How long until common sense starts taking over the majority of the country? God, it can't come soon enough. Haven't we had enough of this lunacy? I mean, the crazy stuff that's happened over the past 4 years, it's really been wild. I think you're starting to see common sense come back into play. I think some of it starts with Donald Trump saying, yeah, we're getting rid of things like DEI. We're going to be a merit-based society. That's good. That's good. We want people in jobs because they deserve it, because we want the best and the brightest, and we want to encourage hard work and people to work for things. I think those are all good things. I think it's common sense that we want to get criminals out of this country who are already here illegally. They broke the law to come here. They broke the law probably while they're here. They're convicted of crimes in their home countries. Let's get them out. That's common sense. We got to move them out. And I think people in places like California where, we did okay in California, but majority of California is still very blue and very Democrat. Hope you guys are starting to realize common sense is part of the equation of a happy society, because you can't run a state where you don't have forest management, where you don't have supplies for your firefighters, where you cut the budgets of your fire department so grossly, leading up to these fires. I don't know, that this is common sense stuff. So I hope people are starting to wake up and pay attention. And look, I think once life starts moving in the right direction for people, it's a lot easier to take a look at things and say, well, what changed? And you're going to look at some of these Trump policies and you're going to say, oh, well, maybe it was Donald Trump after all. Maybe he's not this horrible guy who was sold to us. Maybe he actually ran for president again, despite the lawfare, despite assassination attempts, despite it all, because he cares about America and he really knew that he was the one person who could do the job necessary. Who else is getting Colombia to accept plane loads of criminals when they're like, nope, we're not taking them within an hour, other than Donald Trump? No one else would have done that. This is why this man is perfect for this moment. And I will always say, I believe that he is here by the grace of God, and I believe God spared his life so that he could be president again, our 47th president. So it's all good stuff. I'm very happy. I'm very hopeful. And I hope you are too, because there's a lot of good that's starting to happen. Thank you, President Donald Trump. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Make sure you send us more questions under this episode to any of our social media. And until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.